Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. A little late getting on here. I was trying to find parking out there and there wasn't much parking available. It's a pretty busy little complex right now. And just recently an A&W went in close to my studio. So now the parking here is super busy for people going to A&W. So it's kind of a pain to find parking. But anyways, found my parking spot. Here I am. And today I wanted to talk about if you can actually out train a bad diet. And that's why I just thought of A&W, because I'm wondering if people think that they can eat A&W food and then just go and work it off and everything will be fine. So I mean, it'd be nice, right? Because there's foods that you like to indulge in, and if you could indulge in whatever you wanted to just by working out, like how great would that be? And over the years, I've had many people say to me, with all the working out you do, because I teach multiple classes every day, they say, oh, you must be able to eat whatever you want. And it's true, but the foods that I want tend to be healthy most of the time. So, I have my indulgences here and there, but for the most part, my body really does crave healthier foods. And I think that's kind of what happens when you start working out more, because you want to have that energy, your body needs that energy, so you have cravings for high nutrient foods. Hey, Stephanie, how's it going? So, I know it's tempting to say, oh, I worked out really hard today, so I'm going to have, whatever treat you want to have, whether it's something sugary or if it's fast food or something, but don't fall into that trap because you're just not going to be doing yourself any good. Um, Physical activity requires proper nutrition. If you're not getting proper nutrition, your body's going to be weaker, your energy is going to be lower, and your body's not going to be able to rebuild itself very well because the materials you're giving it are low quality, low grade materials. So, like, think about building a house. If you build a house out of low grade materials, you're going to have issues with that house pretty soon. There's going to be problems. Same with your body. If you're not putting in, good healthy stuff, then you're not going to get the strongest body that you could have. So, and also with most junk foods, they cause, inflammation and all sorts of problems. So our bodies do need to exercise. We definitely need to work out. Our bodies are meant to move. And evidence of that is, when you've been sitting for a long time at your desk and you've been working for a while and you go to get up and you're feeling really stiff and sore and, you've got back pain, knee pain, that kind of thing. That's because being sedentary is actually really hard on our bodies. So we're meant to move around, we're meant to exercise. Um, so and they've done studies and they found that if you're working out regularly, your risk of developing cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, dementia, and even some cancers are actually reduced by about 30%. So, it's worth it to get out there and exercise. Now, nutrition is such an important part. And here's something to kind of think about. In the last 30 years, the percentage of people who exercise regularly hasn't really changed that much, not significantly at all. But the percentage of people who are overweight and even obese has skyrocketed. So the problem is in the nutrition. And the reason why nutrition is quite poor is because of all the processed foods. And over the past 30 years, the number of processed foods have increased quite dramatically. So that's why over the past 30 years there's been an increase in weight issues and health issues. And processed foods those are the foods that are basically very low in nutrition, filled with artificial ingredients, colors, sugars, preservatives, chemicals, stuff you don't want to be putting into your body. But unfortunately, these processed foods are super convenient, which makes them very tempting, and they are super addictive. We don't even realize how addictive these foods are. That's why you crave it. That's why you crave something that's doing your body damage. It's because it's addictive. So when you're first cutting out processed foods, it's going to be a little rough. You might have you might notice some symptoms of withdrawal, such as headache and that kind of thing, or a little bit grumpy. But I mean, it's worth it. You got to get that stuff out of your body. So the addictive part of it is really a sad part because a lot of people don't realize they're addicted. Their health is so poor, and it's just kind of a sad state. So if you're trying to lose weight, if that's your goal, exercise alone it just won't be enough. Exercise will help sustain weight loss, but it's your nutrition that's going to drive that weight loss. It's proper nutrition. If you're trying to, you know, improve performance, just be, you know, generally healthy, again, exercise isn't enough. So as I was saying, what you put into your body is what your body is going to make itself up out of. So our body is constantly turning over, constantly making new cells, and what you're putting in your body is what your body is making that out of. So really think about that. That was a big one for me when I really kind of thought about that and gave that some, you know, deep thought. I thought, oh, that's so true. What I'm putting in is what my body's going to make itself out of. And if I'm putting in, you know, crappy stuff, it's like, no wonder I don't feel good. So keeping that in mind. So the reason why you can't out train a bad diet, there's a few. One thing is, and this is probably going to, you know, create a little bit of people might argue this with me, but that's okay. Not all calories are created equal. That's right, I said it, they're not all created equal. So you can't just simply say, I'm going to work out and burn off enough calories so that I can eat that donut and then everything's going to be fine. Because that is just, it doesn't work that way. So it is true that if you consume too many calories of any food, you will gain weight. If you're taking in more calories than you're burning off, then yeah, you're going to gain weight. That could be healthy food or unhealthy food. But think about this. If you had two women and one woman, they were both working out. One woman was, you know, eating like sort of junk food, fast food, 1,500 calories or whatever every day. And then you compare her to her friend who's also working out, but she's eating 1,500 calories of high quality real foods. You're going to see two different bodies, two different minds. You're going to see very two different people. So the calorie argument, that it frustrates me sometimes that people just focus on calories. You can't just focus on the calories. You have to look at the quality of the food, and that's really the most important thing. And I would even say, like when people ask me how many calories should I have in a day, I don't like it when people ask me that question. I do like to warn not to go too low because your body does need a certain amount of energy every day. But I would prefer that you just start focusing on having high quality foods, you know, at regular intervals throughout the day and just kind of focusing on that and don't get caught up so much in the numbers. I used to get really caught up in the numbers of calories and it drove me nuts and it was a very unhealthy obsession. So looking at the quality of your food first, and then once you start getting more comfortable with that, you can start learning more about nutrition, then you can start sort of tweaking things here and there, but quality first. Hey Ryan, how's it going? You can't fuel your body with junk and then expect it to perform. So just like your car, if you were to put low-grade fuel into your car, it's not going to perform as well as if you put the high-octane stuff in there, right? So our body's the same. You know, you're putting in crap, you're going to get crappy results. Your energy is going to be lower. You're not going to be as strong. You know, you need healthy, high-quality food. And you can get awesome results at any age if you're eating properly and moving your body. So don't let age be anything that will stop you. Don't say, okay, well, I'm this age, so, you know, I don't need to change my eating habit now. It's never too late to change your eating habits and get really healthy. I'm healthiest I've ever been, and in my 20s and teens, I was quite a bit more unhealthy. So, you know, never use age as an excuse. And don't go too low, as I was saying about calories. Like they say for a sedentary woman, she shouldn't eat less than 1,200 calories. So the problem with going too low is that if your body's not getting enough nutrients from food you're putting in, your body will actually start to eat its own muscle, cannibalize its muscle. And what happens then is that your metabolism will start to slow down because of that, and then it just completely backfires and it gets harder and harder to keep weight off, and it just turns into a really bad cycle. So don't be tempted to go, you know, super low calorie or cut out carbs completely, or, you know, your body needs all the macronutrients, or it's going to slow itself right down in order to conserve energy. It's a survival mechanism. So has to be quality food, but it has to be, you know, enough calories to sustain you. And then doing one without the other leaves you unmotivated too. And I'm sure some of you have experienced this. You know, you do a really great workout and you kind of feel like, hey, now I want to eat healthy because I'm feeling so good. Or you're eating healthy and you're feeling good, so you're like, oh, now I want to work out because I have this energy and I'm just feeling really good. So, you know, the two together really are key. And then the other reason why nutrition and has to be paired up with your exercise is that you could put yourself at higher risk for injury and illness if you're not feeding yourself properly. So when you're eating junk food, it actually does weaken your immune system, so it leaves you more susceptible to colds and flu. Your body isn't as strong as it could be, so it leaves you more susceptible to injuries. So, you know, it's just worth it to take the time to eat properly, to fuel your workouts properly. And don't skip out on the fats. So I know that was a really popular thing not too long ago, was to try to avoid fat as much as possible. But studies have actually shown that if you don't get the adequate amount of healthy fats, it actually raises your chance of overuse injuries such as stress fractures and tendonitis. So I was unaware of that. I found that really quite interesting. And you have to eat to support your training. So I know nutrition can seem really confusing because of all the conflicting messages we get, but it's pretty simple. So here's some tips to kind of help you out. So try to eat protein with each meal. So you have to have that protein. It's got the amino acids that your body needs so that it can rebuild your muscles. For women, aim for about the size of your palm. For men, 2 palm sizes is a good place to start. If you're really unsure about portion control, you can use that as a quick portion control thing. But do make sure that you are getting that protein in. Eat 1 to 2 servings of non-starchy vegetables with each meal. So non-starchy vegetables are full of fiber, full of phytonutrients, so really good for your body. Try to eat them raw if possible, or just lightly steamed, because the more you cook it, the more you break down the nutrition. So try to go for raw, like go for a salad, or carrot sticks or broccoli or whatever, like something that's raw. Get that into your body with each of your meals. If you don't feel like having vegetables with one of your meals, maybe try having a piece of fruit, like just some raw food. Eat starchy carbohydrates after your strength training session. So starchy carbs are like, yams, potatoes, sweet potatoes, that kind of thing. If weight loss is your goal, save these for right after your workout and have them with your post-workout meal. And try to have that post-workout meal within 2 hours of finishing your training sessions. So that's kind of your window where you get the most out of your nutrition. If you're trying to optimize your performance, you might want to consider having starchy carbs with every meal. For serving sizes, women about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup, men 1 to 1.5 cups. And play around with it a bit and see how it feels, because some bodies react differently to different nutrients. So, try it out. I suggest keeping a journal if this is something new that you're adding, and just kind of see, how you're feeling, how you're looking, what your energy is like, and keep that diary and kind of see if the starchy carbs are helping you or hindering you. And I know you don't hear this a lot when it comes to carbohydrates, but less is not always better. It's just getting the healthy carbs and staying away from processed carbs. A lot of confusion with carbs, I know, just because of the messages that we've been given through media and that kind of thing. But you got to get your vegetables, starchy carbs. Don't be scared of them. They're part of a healthy diet as well. And then investing in a nutrient-dense shake. So I know shakes aren't for everyone, and I get that. For me, shakes are just genius. I love shakes. I've been using shakes for years now. And luckily, shakes have come a long way since I first started. My very first experience with shakes was actually Slim Fast, and that wasn't the greatest experience. But anyways, they've come a long ways with their nutrition. A lot of research has gone into it. They're a great way to get a lot of nutrition in a small dose, really. You can make up a shake with about a cup or a cup and a half of water. I love them because for breakfast, like if I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to be eating, a big meal of solid food and then go and teach a spin class. Like that would just hurt. And I'm not going to get up an hour earlier and get up at 3 so I can make something, eat it, digest it, and then go and teach. So for me, it's just perfect for breakfast. It's also good if I'm having a really crazy day and I know I can't sit down to a meal, then I can have it with me to have on the go. Another great time to have one is right after your workout. So because it's liquid, it's a little easier for your body to absorb because it doesn't have to break it down so much to get it into the cells. So again, if I know it's going to be a while before I can eat a whole food meal, I'll have that shake after my workout, and then I'll be sure to have that whole food meal later on in the day. So I'm not in any way saying to depend on shakes for your nutrition. They're a great thing to add as a supplement. Just make sure that you are finding those high quality shakes, because there's still a lot of junky ones on the market. So if you find, a tub of protein that's like huge and it's like 20 bucks, leave it in the store, because the reason why it's so cheap is because it's made up of cheap ingredients, which means they're not so healthy. So when you see a shake that is more expensive and you're like, why is it so expensive? It's because of the nutrient value and the source of the nutrients and what goes into making that shake. So it's definitely worth the investment. I use mine as a breakfast, so basically, it's taking the place of what I would have been eating for breakfast. Mine works out to, I think, about $5 a serving, which, when you think about it, a lot of people spend that or even more on their coffee drink in the morning, and quite often that coffee drink is really unhealthy. So, if you're wanting to add shakes into your food budget, they are actually made to be like a meal replacement type thing. But again, not all of your meals don't depend on your shakes for your nutrition. Just use them as a supplement. So, it's really worth it to put the time and effort into your nutrition, especially if you're working out. You don't want to be injuring yourself. You don't want to be getting sick all the time. You want to get results for all your hard work. Like, nothing is more frustrating than putting in these hours at the gym and then not getting results and ending up injured and just being run down and just feeling horrible. So it's worth it to look at your nutrition and get on a good nutrition plan. And if you need help with that, of course, I'm always happy to help you. Hey, Wendy, how's it going? And if you are interested in shakes and you want to know my opinion on any shake that you are thinking of trying, I'm happy to look at the ingredient list and tell you what I think of it. If you want to know which ones I'm using, I've got a couple that I really like, so I'm happy to share that with you as well. So I am off to teach the last class of the day pretty soon, so I got to prepare the studio, clean it up, got to look good. So have a great afternoon and evening, and I will see you again tomorrow.